And the market strategy can obviously be based on selling the product or selling the services. Are you selling the solar panels, or are you selling the electricity generated or the heat generated? Would your evaluation of the company differ? And if so, the capital requirement obviously be larger if you have to finance the utilities sort of yourself. Would the evaluation and the percentages be the same? How would you see that, the different business models?
I think basically you are asking the question, what is the business model in terms of what are the customer actually buying? And certain customers, if you're coming with a product, you have a bigger hurdle to get them to buy the product. In certain cases, even if you can buy them the service including the product, it becomes an more easy transaction.
Yeah.
But the amount of investment you may need in the varies also between which kind of business you are in. If you look at the old Xerox cases where they leased the machines rather than sold machines, where they changed the complete decision process with the customer, then the amount of money was still not that substantial. But if you're talking power plant, it's enormous amounts of money that you have to raise up initially, and that is probably impossible to do all the financing up front. But I think that it's case by case. You have to evaluate in any case, and the only thing, the thing we are mostly focused on, how do you really make that business fly? What are demanded? Can you? And we are, as an example, not able to be part of huge investment schemes. So we know that if there would be a demand for 100 million euros in the investment in order to be a service business, we cannot play that game. We don't have that kind of funds. So you have to find out, is this a game where you can play at all? But if it is a game you can play, and if you can offer the services, it normally is a better game to play. In terms of you get better business in the end. But it's difficult to be very generalizing because you have to look at every individual case in order to know what model is actually going to work.
You have to see how that particular market works.
Exactly.
And sometimes you do it according to buyer behavior, or sometimes you want to change everything to be the leader in a new arena.
Exactly. You have to, but if you want to be a new leader in a new arena, you come into the question raised, do you have the funds to do it? Or can you find friends that have the funds to help you do it? Or how do you set it up?
Yeah.
I think it is, but you have to evaluate that already in the due diligence process, of course, what can be done and what cannot be done. So you know that you're not entering in a game plan where you will be not, as an investor, you will not be able to participate later.
Part of if you selected to sell your innovation as a product, then you can obviously select to sell it under your own brand name, or if you select to OEM it and piggyback on companies that are already in position in the market. And I was curious about Midsummer, and Eric, what is your strategy in terms of how you fastest reach out to the market? Are you looking at OEMing your products, or would you push the Midsummer name out into the market?
I think, first of all, I think you need to be flexible, as Anders said, and I think even for the same company, depending on where you are in this cycle. I mean, now when it's a downturn, it's difficult to get money. I think it's very important to be able to spread the technology as much as possible and as fast as possible without using too much financing and too much money, and then you need to find a good strategy for that. And I think generally for Midsummer or for any small company, it's very difficult to start by trying to create a brand name and make everyone aware of the Midsummer logo. So I think it probably makes much more sense to team up with someone
who's already there.
That you jump on his back and he will run for you.
Paul, you have some comments there.
In general, I would advise not to lose your control on your commercial development too much. And I think if you fully go for a OEM strategy, you put a little bit the commercial development in the hands of a big company which has its own way of working, his own speed. And what you also lose is the feedback of your final end customer. And sometimes this feedback is very important. So I will always advise for those companies who are looking to OEM strategy just to have a more direct route also, in order to keep the contact with the final end customer and get its feedback, and also to have some control at least on your commercial development, and not to be dependent from big multinationals where you are just a number and not the most important supplier.
That is true. That is the practices I always use myself, to always have your ear against the rail, so you hear what's going on in the market as well. Paul, you told me that an idea is not proven until you have your first paying customer, and we at Sting we always say that you have to seek out the lowest hanging fruit and attack that. Would you say that you look more on the market strategy to obtain your first paying customer more than whatever an advanced market strategy and market plan would tell you when you make your evaluation of a company?
Well, again, I think it differs from company case to company case. There's no general rule, I should say. But what's very important for us is to have feedback from the end customer, so that you can translate this feedback in product redesign, or that you can translate it in your product or in your service you want to sell. That's very important for us, and I think we also advise to any CEO, even those company management teams which still need to do some technology development, to connect already from as early as possible, to connect with those final end customers, so that you can change things during your technical development if it's really needed. Because we are not interested in financing, to put it a little bit unfriendly, in financing engineers who does not know what's going on in the world, in the commercial world and in the business world. So we need to have input from the technical side, we have the input from customer side, we have to need different inputs and try to combine it in the best product and the best solution.
Mm-hmm.